CSOs are employing in terms of AJS. And we want to hear from FIDA Kenya on their perspective, how they've been handling children matters and promoting child justice, maybe through their mediation forums and other forums, but also from Haki Jamii, looking at land, the issue of land question and how it has an impact on child justice. So we need also to think outside the box, not just from one aspect. And so this afternoon we are privileged to have one of our program officers from FIDA Kenya and also a program officer from Haki Jamii. FIDA Kenya does a lot of matters related to women and children, but also seeing how they can bring parties together, families together, and that's the whole essence of the Children's Act 2022. We were told about section 33. So we have Tracy Lichuma. Recently she's just graduated from the University of Pretoria with a master's on SRH rights. So we are really privileged to have her here, but she's so passionate about alternative justice systems. They work mainly in Kisumu, Nyeri, Nairobi, Isiolo, Meru, Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, and promoting alternative justice system. But today here, she's giving a perspective of how FIDA has been able to promote child justice. So let's put our hands together for Tracy. So Tracy, let's try to keep it at 15 minutes. Thank you.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
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 You've not eaten lunch? Okay. Thank you. My name is Tracy, as Jemima has mentioned. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and I work at FIDA Kenya as a program officer and a legal counsel. So, how we work with, let me start with about FIDA. So we are a women's rights organization. We have been in existence for the past 40 years, and we have offices in Nairobi, in Kisumu, and in Mombasa. So our vision is essentially to envision a society that respects and upholds women and girls' rights, and our mission is to champion women's individual and collective power to claim their rights in all spheres of life. So we are currently implementing a strategic plan of 2023 to 2027, and one of the key objectives is alternative justice system through mediation. So at our offices, we run a legal aid clinic that women come to our offices. And once they come to our offices, our main goal essentially is to enhance family unity. And so by this, we offer mediation as a first chance to dealing with family cases. So women who come to the office, mostly children and custody matters. The first intervention is we offer mediation to both parties. So we write a letter to the defendant. If it is the defendant is the man, we write a letter to him, and vice versa. So during this time, we don't limit who comes to the legal aid clinic. It can be both men and women. So if it is the man coming to the office, maybe he's coming to seek access to the minors or custody or maintenance of the minor, we still offer mediation as a first intervention to him. And we call the woman to the office who we try and resolve the matter before it approaches court. So how again we work with the elders, since we cannot reach everybody and since our offices are only in 3 counties, we have worked with elders across the different counties. So we work with elders in Nyeri, we work with elders in Tana River, the coastal region, the Kisumu, the Nchuricheke. We offer training. We capacity build these elders to be able to handle these matters as they come to them. So we have the elders who have been trained through MTI to go through the mediation process. and they're able to understand our mandate and to also deal with the cases as they arise. So we have also we try and address the knowledge gaps. So once we go to the field and we capacity build these elders, they inform us on what they need to be able to do their work well. So if it is things to do with AJS and they need training, I'm always relying on Jemima to come and give the training on AJS so that they are able to understand better and well on how to discharge their mandate as elders. We also try to incorporate them into the CUCs so that their voices are also heard during when the courts are having their CUC meetings. I've talked about the linkage between the court users committees and the elders. So one of the reasons why we advocate for mediation in the office is because of accessibility. AJS often offers more proximate and less intimidating avenues for dispute resolution, especially in the rural or marginalized areas. Speed and cost-effective AJS processes can be quicker and less expensive than formal court proceedings, reducing delays that can negatively impact the children. So it offers a restorative justice as opposed to the court system. AJS will focus on the reconciliation and repairing harm, which can be beneficial to the children and the parties involved. AJS provides a contextual approach in dispute resolution since different customs are enshrined in the AJS mechanism. It facilitates understanding and provides a dispute resolution mechanism that is more approachable and that has less formalities that will allow parties to approach the disputes with immediacy and efficiency. Some of the challenges that we have faced in integrating AJS into the formal justice system includes a lack of unified and formal documentation. Elders meet in the rural areas, so them having not having a formal documentation of the whole process becomes a challenge. And with that, it becomes non-binding unless there's an agreement that is reached at the end of the mediation process. Follow-up mechanism is strenuous. The informal nature of the AJS can make it difficult to monitor outcomes and ensure accountability. There's a strenuous in the reconciliation with the formal law, challenges in integrating AJS decisions into the formal legal framework, especially when the AJS outcomes contradict the statutory law. Then you have the best interest principles and customs used in resolution of conflict in AJS. Are in themselves archaic and contrary to the best interest of the children. That is, for example, resolutions of sexual gender-based violence through AJS by marrying off the children who have survived the abuse becomes a challenge in integrating AJS in the formal system. We see this especially in areas where I think the northern eastern part of Kenya, where they handle such cases in their AJS sittings. For us, we don't deal with any mediation or any sitting where the case is an SGBV-related case, or where there is the immediate harm to either parties, or there is an ongoing gender-based violence. So the key learnings that we've seen, it helps in facilitating disputes promptly. There's opportunity to ensure children's issues are decided upon contextually. It fosters a culture and customary practice in law. It has room for goodwill, for more growth, and uptake since it's more relatable communities whose pastoral practices are strong. And there are key knowledge gaps management that once done will enlighten the communities on harmful practices versus practices that have the best interest of the children at heart. So at FIDA, we hold mediations every Thursday of the week, And so far, through its inception, we've dealt with we have handled over 4,000 cases to date, and we can assure that it's working mechanisms in our offices, and most people would actually prefer first doing the mediation process before actually proceeding to court. In case the mediation fails or the agreement is not adhered to, is when people proceed to court. Since it's voluntary in nature, the other party can choose not to come because it's not a forced process. Once there's a forced process, then the mediation already fails. It's a voluntary in nature, and if one party fails to come for the mediation, it means the whole process will fail. So we've also integrated virtual mediations for parties, or where one party is maybe outside of the country or is in a different location and is unable to reach to the office physically. We do offer virtual mediations for such sessions, and at the end of the day, it's about the best interest of the child, so we will try and navigate and change and adapt to new incoming technologies and stuff like that. So we have embraced virtual mediation, and it's currently ongoing in all offices, and we have seen it is working well. The only challenge with that is the fact that sometimes there's a power imbalance where maybe the woman who is mostly our client is not tech savvy, and the other side is. It means there'll be a power imbalance there. So we try and accommodate everyone and their own needs. So if we notice or we feel that there's going to be that in play, then we will resort to a physical meeting. Also, yeah, I think I've said everything. Yeah, I think I touched on everything that I was going to say.
Okay, yeah, let's clap for Tracy Johnson and just give it a lot, yeah. So I was giving an example of one of the areas whereby AJS has worked, where FIDA support is Odaya, in 2 minutes, even as Valentine's Gateway. So we had the challenge of Mungiki, if you all remember. And one of the things that now happened was Mishuki said that if you get somebody who is in this sector, what happens? You either shoot to kill or they get arrested. So, you know, the menace that was very bad in terms of both in the community setup. So, the elders in Odaya, through their chief barazas, had a discussion and asked themselves, who are these people who are being killed? They are our children. Who are these people who are being put in, you know, like radicalized to get into this sect? They are our children. Who are these people who are being arrested? They are our children. And so it was a very bad thing for the last 10 years. So what they did, they started having chief barazas, whereby they will be able to bring the community together and ask them, how do we address this problem? Is your child in this sect? Yes. Can we start talking to these children so that they don't, you know, we're talking about your sect? That's on one part. And on the other part, those who've been arrested, can they be brought back to the community so that we see how we can rehabilitate them and reintegrate them back to the community? So that's how the Odaya AJS sessions began, Alternative Justice System sessions began. So every time somebody was arrested and taken to court, they are taken to court and then charged with those cases of assault, grievous harm. Some of them will be charged for, you know, creating disturbance. But the court will be able to refer them back to the community. So the community will be able to have sessions and deliberate and see how best can we deal with this person. The person can say, I no longer want to get into this sector, I got into it, but now I want the community to assist me to get out. So through this, the AJS sessions in Odaya began using the chief barazas. And so now FIDA got this as an opportunity for them to build the capacity of the elders in Odaya who are handling matters as chiefs. So remember, these are chiefs in the community. And so we've been building their capacity on how effective can they be able to handle the cases. And Oda is one of our case studies or best case studies where we see children being rehabilitated and, dealing with the issue of Mungiki, being brought back to, reintegrated back to the community. Because remember, there are two ways. It's either you die, or when Mungiki set the leaders find you that you are Peo Nawasema, they will also kill you. But through that, now we're able to deal with the issue of Mungiki in Odaya. So that's just one of the forums you can see that we've been able to build the capacity, and also using AJS, children have been rehabilitated and integrated back to the community. So it's one of the cases where very few criminal cases as a result of alternative justice systems. Now, Tracy has also taken us through mediation of families. Remember, most of these cases when children get in conflict with the law, they start from the family. Problems that we have in the family. And so unless the family level we are able to see that we can become good examples to the children, then in court when you take these matters to Honorable Kiboshi, you are condemning this child. But the problem is at the family level. And so if you can be able to bring parties together so that they can create a conducive environment for the children to grow, then be able to also deal with this issue of criminal children in conflict with the law or children in contact with the law. For those of us who are practicing, we see most of the examples the problems come from the family level or the community, and that's why we have in this dialogue. How best can we use the community to be able to bring up children or raise children that we want to see as children? The way we used to be told that the community will be able to work together to bring up or raise up a child. So thank you so much, Tracy, for that. Indeed, you've given us the opportunities to ensure that children issues are decided contextually. Different regions have different issues. And also we have the capacity to filter culture and customary practice into law. How do we bring this culture and customary practice into law? Rather than bringing them already in contact with the law and condemning them, how do we as a community have a culture of raising up children that we want to see as the future of this country? But also, looking at the knowledge gaps, and we are here to see knowledge gaps. How do we create synergies? And up tomorrow, especially on the issue of diversion, how can we create synergies with different actors? Plea taking at the police stage, at the community stage, at the DPP stage when it's get there, at the court, as the Children Act is providing at that section 53, and also post. How can we, all of us, play a role to ensure that we have enhanced or strengthened justice for children in our country? I want to invite Valentine from Haki Jamii for the next session. Kindly come and assist us. But in the meantime, can we give a clap for Tracy? Thank you so much, Tracy. So Haki Jamii deals with mainly issues of family, housing and land matters, and they're able to see this aspect and their impact on child justice. So as I've said, we need to broaden our minds so that we just don't look at matters that are in court, but also outside court. How different stakeholders play roles in terms of enhancing child justice, but also building this child that we want to see as the future generation. Welcome, Valentine. Are we ready? Okay, thank you so much, Valentine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Valentine Moini. I work with Haki Jamii. So I'll begin by introducing Haki Jamii and then give you a few of our experiences on AJS and child matters. So Haki Jamii is also known as the Economic and Social Rights Center. We support marginalized communities to claim and realize their economic and social rights and to live in dignity through human rights-based approaches. So mostly we support right holders to participate meaningfully in governance processes and hold duty bearers accountable for equitable service delivery and for poor policy development. Haki Jamii has 4 key strategic programs: land and housing, health and wash, basic education and civic awareness, sustainable livelihoods and climate justice. For today, I'll be focusing on land and housing and the intersection with child rights. That's just a few highlights of Haki Jamii in action. Then now to land and housing justice in Kenya. There have been very persistent land and natural resources disputes in Kenya for a while. And the most common causes are historical injustices, access, benefit sharing, and control over natural resources. We also have weak governance and land administration systems, and almost inaccessible formal justice systems, and insecure land tenure. Most of the areas that are affected with land disputes are areas that have practiced pastoralism, agriculture, and where there's also conservation overlap. So places with natural resources, parks, such and such. So that's just a few statistics of the numbers that have been affected by disputes over land ownership. In 2024 alone, we were reported at least 3,000 individuals who are affected by such disputes. And then on the housing aspect, Kenya still experiences a lot of arbitrary and unlawful evictions, which particularly affects marginalized communities, so both in the urban informal settlements and the rural indigenous areas. Just a few statistics for the numbers and the families that have been affected by such. I believe we are all aware of the evictions that were happening along the Nairobi River, right? Yeah, but most of the time we look at it from the family lens, not from the children lens. But yeah, our constitution clearly highlights the children's rights, and I know we are all familiar with them, so I won't go through them. But just the three that we have highlighted are mostly affected. So there's the right to free and compulsory basic education, there's the right to basic nutrition, shelter and healthcare, and the right to be protected from abuse, neglect, harmful cultural practices. So how do these rights intersect with the land and housing rights? So the land and housing rights usually have a direct bearing on child's welfare. So what happens when there are forced evictions? Children are left without safe shelters or secure living environments, which are very crucial for their upbringing. They also face educational disruptions. Now they have to move. The schools have been demolished. Their livelihoods for their parents are not there, so their education will be disrupted. Then there's also limited access to basic services, such as healthcare, clean water, and sanitation. And then the last one, which is almost very important, psychosocial trauma. When there are evictions and land disputes, children are exposed to police brutality, detention of family members, and loss of community safety nets that they were used to. So what Hakijamii does pertains AJS, we try to bridge the gaps. First, in amplifying the voices of the marginalized communities. Sometimes these communities don't have platforms to air their grievances. So we try to give them platforms by either sponsoring them to attend such conferences so that they can bring their issues on board. We also try to facilitate dialogue between, say, the AJS Secretariat and the grassroots voices, or different stakeholders who are under the National Council on Administration of Justice. We also have sensitization forums where we go to capacity build these communities on alternative justice systems and how they can leverage on them to handle their housing and land issues. And then there's also community representation, where as an organization we sit in very strategic committees and working groups in the judiciary in particular, so that we can make sure the lived realities of the marginalized communities are heard and we bring them on board. So for AJS, I'll give you a case study of Narok County, where we are currently implementing a number of projects. So most of the land disputes in Narok County relate to buying and selling of land, which also includes public land.
So as Haki Jamii, we try to facilitate meaningful conversations on AJS and conducting capacity buildings for these communities on AJS. Currently, what is working in Narok, the judiciary, is there's a CUCs to engage the communities in dispute management and resolution. So the CUCs through the Council of Elders. The judiciary also works closely with the National Land Commission to identify land cases from various subtribes. And then the declarations that come from the elders are usually declared as final. Though they are not formally documented, they are recognized as final decisions. So the implications of the land and housing issues on children, as I earlier indicated during the intersection, one, there's disruption of education for the children. There's emotional and social instability for the children as well, due to the emotional trauma caused by sudden loss of familiar homes, environments, and the social circles. And this translates to anxiety, detachment, and behavioral changes as these children grow. Then there's also breakdown of social support systems caused by their frequent movements, which disrupts their relationships with their peers, their teachers, and their extended family. And normally this affects the communication and trust for the kids, which is very critical for healthy upbringing. So we have seen a number of gaps when HIS is used to resolve land and housing disputes. So Narok as a county is still patriarchal. So as much as we're saying the Council of Elders solve these issues, the Council of Elders are typically male-dominated. And again, by the virtue of being a pastoral society, the men are not usually at home bringing up the kids. So there's a disconnect between what is discussed. They only represent their issues, since they're not very aware of the children issues. So the main institutional gap is the underrepresentation of children's interests. All these issues that you have addressed here are not brought during the AJS discussion, sorry. So what our recommendations would be to make the AJS better and to capture children's needs. One would be to intensify community sensitization, to promote active participation, which will be done by conducting regular awareness forums so that they understand the principles, the processes, and the benefits of AJS. And then the other recommendation would be to ensure that AJS integrates child protection principles and gender equity. So this would also be done by training elders and mediators so that they can recognize the unique needs and the rights and vulnerabilities that are faced by women, girls, and children in particular. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very, very much, Valentine from Haki Jamii. So I know initially when I requested Haki Jamii to come, I was wondering now, land and family and housing, how do they relate to children? But now you can see, we've been taken around on some of the issues that happen in terms of land, eviction, housing matters and their impact and effect on children. And you can relate to some of the cases that we handle in courts relating to children in conflict with the law or in contact with the law that come as a result of forceful evictions. Camps are created, children are so desperate, they're not able to go to school. Then we have these other cases that follow. But more importantly, you can see the role that we play as different stakeholders to just ensure that we deal with the issues of children holistically. I'm very much ready to inform us that we work with Haki Jamii in Narok and we build the capacity of the elders so that they can be able to handle matters of land forceful evictions in a way that Article 62 of the Constitution provides, but more importantly looking at it from the lens of the family, the effects that it has on family. Then forced displacement. Issues of children who are, end up now in a different county, you have nothing, and what happens to them? When we meet them here in the street, we call them chokoras, but imagine hana mali pakwenda just after as a result of an eviction. Then they end up stealing. So to you, are dealing with a matter of stealing, but we didn't deal with the root cause. So we need to address the root cause, and that's what AJS is all about. Can we address the root causes before even we deal with these children in court? Can we even address the root cause? So for us, we call it recidivism. Ameiba tena na tena na tena. But see this child, yuko tu, haendi shule, the environment akonayo, they do not have food, they've lost hope, they've lost their home. We had a discussion about psychosocial support. What's our role in terms of psychosocial support to children who are faced this particular kind of crisis? So we've developed guidelines on documentation. I know we've raised the documentation as an issue, but we've developed guidelines and we are training the elders on how to document the bare minimum so that at least the courts can be able to have a link on what they've handled at the community level. We are working with the judiciary. They've given us a secretariat in all the counties where we've launched AJS so that they can assist the elders in terms of documentation. But more importantly is the role of civil society in building the capacity of different stakeholders. And thank you for that example of NAROC, which now provides us a benchmark of the effect and what Haki Jani is doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope we can relate to the two cases that we've seen, one from NAROC and one from Odaya. And what is our role in terms of building a child justice friendly system so that at least we can not only rehabilitate, but even prevent these children from getting in contact with the law. Not only now reintegrate when they're in contact, how do we reintegrate them back to the community, but also rehabilitate them holistically. Tomorrow I'll share with you statistics that even though we've been taking children in court and in court, we've never dealt with the issue of recidivism. And I'm sure my colleague from prison can tell you, we still have reoffending. So when you apply these alternatives to court, alternatives to prison, alternatives to remand, then we're dealing with this child holistically. But the bottom line is, you prevent before you do what? You cure. You are told prevention is better than cure. So can we deal with the root causes of all these offenses? So I've told you at 4 o'clock, we shall get the real tea. And I'm going to the kitchen to confirm they've cooked the real tea. So just hold on for 1 hour. It is my pleasure. Oh, sorry, just apologies. We were to have Honorable Ochoi from Milimani Law Courts. But he's under the weather and he'll be represented by my dear sister, who played a very key role in Makadara to deal with matters in Makadara. You can imagine, because now you're in the area in Tunasema, the biggest slums are in Eastlands. On children matters, mpaka amepata award. So akaletwa Milimani. Sasa kudina ile watu wa urban. So, but because she has a session tomorrow, we've agreed that she'll combine the two sessions tomorrow. Now we want to listen to the voices of the children. Wamesikia kizungu mingi, don't worry. Watu wanaongea kizungu yote they can speak Swahili. So don't worry. So hata ukiongea lugha yako ya mtaa, it is okay. Usijikaze na kizungu ya watu. You can just speak your language. So we want to hear the voices of the children. For the first time, you're sitting in a conference where the children are going to give you their voices. Can we just appreciate the stakeholders who have enabled us to have the children here? I want to invite our executive director from DTDH to give us some 2 minutes remark and invite or welcome our guests who have made us to be here today. For the first time, Mikanyaga Ibis. Maka nimeona niko kwa 5-star hotel. Hata sufuria ya kusafu ni tofauti. So let's clap for Edie to come. Sasa ile nimekuwa ni tofauti, nimeambia panelists can come. So let the panelists kwa hii session ya saizi, yani watoto ile session ya saizi ndio session yenu, so mnaweza kuja kukaa mbele watu waone. Si tuklapia hao ma guest organizers wetu. Excellent, excellent. You can see very interesting representation in terms of gender, and we are doing so well. Don't worry for the boy child, we shall continue empowering you, but for now it's our time, so.
Thank you very much. So I think...
Sorry, microphone please.
Is it working? I just have a very soft voice.
No, I want another one. Yeah, for our guests.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say a word first, because for TDH, really the voice of the children is the most important thing in both identifying the challenges, but also identifying the solutions that they can advise us on. So in the panel, we've got Angel. Is that how we're saying it? Yeah, great. Musamia. And we have Karen. And Karen, you're going to be facilitating after I've done the welcome. So I'd just like to say, as I was in this event this morning, I was thinking, what do we do next? What's our action after this? And I would love to see a similar event actually where it's all children and maybe only a couple of supervising adults. I think to really have their voice amplified and come directly from them. So I think this is a very welcome first step for us to have them here and to listen to you guys. And I think hopefully next time old people can get out of the room and let this be led by you. So I know they'll be joined by Honourable Gerosia, because there was a specific question, and by Rosalind as well in a second. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for leading this. I love your confidence and your bravery. So please be straight with us and tell us what you think. So I would just ask everybody to say a big thank you and give them a round of applause.
Hello. Hi. Let me stand up. My name is Karen Mukoma. I am 15 years old and I am the youngest member of the National Council on the Administration of Justice in Kenya. I'm never going to let my title go by the way. So, before I start again, I have sat here the whole day listening to such boring speeches, zoning out, trying to understand the big words that you guys are saying, looking at myself like am I the one who is slow, or is this word just big? It's been very interesting, but I'm very glad that I get to speak now, because hey, listening to everything for such a long time, I now want to grow up. Okay, so I believe you have met my two special panelists, Angel and Livingstone. Let's clap for them. Another thing, after both of them talk, you have to clap because we are the special ones today. Because you guys are discussing issues to do with that for us, but without us. Because everything for us, without us, is against us. So you can't be talking about issues to do with children and not even involving children. We're talking, this, I feel like it's the last thing that we're gonna be doing and I don't find that fair. Anyways, I would like to invite my third panelist, Honorable Jackie Kelbosia. And also Roslyn Kabata. Okay, so Honorable Jackie Kelbosia is the magistrate in Milimani's Children's Court. And yeah, and Roslyn Kabata is a child participation officer in UNICEF. So for my first question, I would like to address it to the children again, because the children are the special ones today. So I'm going to start with Angel. What would you like to see being changed in the child justice system, or what do you already like that is happening, and would you like to continue happening?
Hello, my name is Angel, I'm 16 years old. Mimi kenye sijapenda ni like tuseme kama mtoto amefanya makosa and amefanya ama hajafanya, so like polisi watamkujia, wataka kujua mali yako, like kama kuna watu atalipika, and then watamchukua watampeleka huko kwa cell and like si ya watoto pekee, amemixiwa na adults, wanaweza mbuli, wanaweza mfanyia and polisi watataka kujua pia. And tena ukiwa huko ndani wanakuwa accused kama sema wanakwambia uliiba na wewe useme hujaiba, hawataamini. So like I will give an example of my brother. Alikuwa ameshikwa Saturday, hatukujua, tulijua jana. So alikuwa huko jana, mama wangu alikuwa anaambiwa atibiwa ile court. So like niko like what court? My brother court. So me sijafurahia.
Okay. I would also like to direct that same question to Livingston. What would you like to be changed in the justice system, and what do you already like in the justice system that you would like to see?
Okay. Thank you. Hello. Okay. As for me, I'm going to give a form of an example like I had. This classmate, we live in slums, in Korogocho slums, whereby we started hustling while we were in class 5. And so our form of hustling is like we go and collect garbage in buildings, houses, just as Ibis styles, the way we are here. They have garbages, they have all forms of trash. Now we go and collect them and dispose them to the place where they are supposed to be. So this boy, as he was doing his work, he's a student in secondary school, but he does the job every weekend on Saturday and Sunday. So an incident happened on Wednesday whereby one of the household in that building lost his phone, and he claimed that he lost 20,000 shillings in his house. And so as he was doing some research to find out how has it got lost, he was told by the neighbors that he should go and confront the boy. And so, since that man didn't know where the boy lived, in that same building there was a girl, and that girl was in Form 2. She studies in boarding school, but she did not go due to some school fees. So the man went to that girl and said, "Can you show me where Silas lives?" And so the girl took the initiative and took the man there. So the man, instead of the man coming and ask the boy just a simple question, "Did you see my money, or did you see this and this?" the man went and criticized him and really insulted him and said that you are a thief and you are supposed to be in jail. People like you are supposed to rot in jail. So the boy was like, "What have I done? What is this man trying to accuse me?" So the boy did not, hakuendelea kuuliza, the man alienda. So fortunate that in our country, I can't fear to say that we had so many corruption. The man was working as, he was like having a hotel, and this hotel, he used to supply tea to the police officers in Kinyago police station in Dandora. So he went and did what is supposed to be done. He went and accused the boy. So instead of the police doing the investigations, they came for the boy, and the girl who was only asked where the boy lived was also arrested. And so the man, when the boy was arrested, he was like asking the police, "What have I done? Why am I going to police station? I don't know anything to say. Wait for my mom." The boy's mom was like, she is still doing cleaning in a school, in a certain school in Guruguru. So that's where she works. So the boy was like, "Wait for my mom. Since I have my mom, I don't have a dad." But the police did not hear him. They took him and the girl to police station where they were mixed. And so when the when the mother was called by the neighbors, she came, and when she went to the police station, the man at first said that 20,000 got lost with the phone. But when he went to the police station, he claimed that it was 23,000. And that was what was written in the police book. And so the mother was like, mtoto wangu si mwizi, he has never stolen anything. Like, yeye ni mtu anajihasulia. I understand the situation that is in our home, but he has never done anything like this. And so the police were like, Mama, can you stop what you are doing? We know that nyinyi wanawake, you always stand for your children. Even though they are guilty, you always stand for them. But the mother said, my boy has never gone to a boarding school. My boy has never departed away from me. I have been with him since childhood up to this stage. I know each and everything that he does, what he normally does, and how he normally partakes his actions. So the police wakaendelea kusema that let's meet in court. And then the boy, when the mother went home, so the next day, it was on a Saturday, when I went to visit that friend of mine, the mother explained everything to me. And so we went with the mother to the police station. And on the same place is where I observed another incident of a boy who was caught because of he was being accused of stealing, of snatching phones in the road. The boy was saying that I was sent by my mom to go and buy mohogo. I don't know if you know mohogo. The cassavas, the one normally being sold in the streets. So the boy was sent by the mom. But since an incident happened to the same place where the boy went to buy those cassavas, the police accused the boy that he was among those who snatched the phone for other people. And the boy was shouting, I'm not guilty, mimi si mwizi, mimi si mwizi. And the police brutally handcuffed the boy. They beat him. And you all know how the handcuffs normally behave. If they stretch in your hands, then you're going to feel the pain. So the boy was really beaten, that even he went to the station, the hands were shaking, like he couldn't do anything else. All of us sympathized with him, with nothing to say. So the boy was like, mimi si mwizi, hata mnipige mniue, I have never stolen. That's when the police also told us that nyinyi mnaangalia nini, and tunawajua, we know what you normally do. So demarcate from here and come on Monday, let's meet in court. Well, the day, it was actually on Monday when they were taken to court. When the mother, I, and other friends went to meet them in court. When we were outside this Milimani court, the police Grand Tiger arrived, and others were being taken to the court while the boy and the girl were left in the car. At some minutes, they were taken back to the police station. Then the mother was like, mbona mnarudisha kwa police station? What is happening? Then we were told, go back to the police station. When we went back, we were told that the accuser did not arrive at that place. And so when the accuser was being called, he claimed again that the money was not 23,000 or 20,000 that he claimed at first, but it was 36,000. Then the mother was like, how is this accuser able to change everything? And you police are believing him. You are only mishandling my son, and this is not a place for a young boy like this. He has vision, he has everything that he wants to do so that he can be able to be a successful boy in future. Then the OCS came and said that, you know, the cells are full. Woman, what do you have in hand? Then I was like, what do you have? What is this person trying to say? Then the mother said that I don't have anything. We were to go to court and the accuser to do what he went there to do. But the woman was told to bring 5,000 so that the boy can be released. And actually, the boy was beaten by the other people who were in the cells. But all in all, the mother did what he had to do, even though they had nothing to say. The mother just gave out the 5,000 shillings and the boy was released. And I was like, is this the way our country is going to run? Or is this the way children are going to be handled by other people. And I was like, do these police officers have children in their homes that they can even sympathize or try to talk to the boy and see? We are normally being told that Kenya is among the best country that has the best investigative officers. Then I was like, where are these investigative officers to find this issue that was going on? I didn't like that, and it really touched me. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Livingstone. So, Honorable Jackie, how do you feel about this situation? Because I believe Milimani Law Court is your court, no? So, how do you feel after hearing a child is being mistreated because of a false accusation and wasn't even given the chance for an alternate justice system like that we've been talking about today? How are you feeling about the situation? And it's not even that far away. You speak. Yeah. How are you feeling about the situation?
Very bad. Very bad. And I realize this week we've been rendering a lot of apologies. So I want to say we are sorry for what happened. In the spirit of the week of apology.
Okay. Another question to you, Honorable. What are some gaps that you think are missing in the justice system, according to you? What are some gaps that could be filled, like something that we've not talked about today, some gaps that could be filled by probably better handlement of child cases, not only the alternate justice systems, better handlement of cases, because you've heard from Livingstone the way that his friend was being cheated really isn't good, and I really don't wish that on anyone. So what do you think is missing from that, and how do you think we can fix that?
Many things are missing, but the outstanding is having a trauma-focused system and a child-focused system. The fact that you can be having a child-focused system, but you're not sensitive to the trauma that you're creating to these children. And I've always advocated for a helpline for children, that you don't have to come to the police station, the police should come to you. You just need to call 111, a very easy number, and somebody reaches out to you very fast. Because by the time you're experiencing atrocities, even in your own home, you realize our homes have also become crime scenes. So you should be able to report and say, I'm having this situation. Call 111. If you want to adopt that one, please adopt it right now. So that you call and say, this is my story, this is what I'm going through, and somebody should be able to address you very fast. I watch a lot of movies, and I see some of the movies, a child calls 911 and says, my cat is stuck on top of the roof, and the police come very fast to rescue this cat, because it's causing trauma to the child, the fact that the cat is stuck there, it might fall off, and it's a small issue to you. I think the reason you're laughing. But it's a very big issue to this child. That cat already has a name, it's called Susan, and it's part of the family. I don't know if you have watched those things. 911 comes for things that are very mundane, but very big because they affect the child, they're causing trauma. So it's unfortunate that we have reached a point where we are not child sensitive anymore. And for me, a reporting would be good, but I'm big on prevention. Because this reporting, this is response. What about prevention? What is our prevention strategy? Everybody is just about, let the DCI do, let the police do, the police even have children, this is what is, why can't we just go back to, it should not happen? Because I've reached this point, even as a magistrate, where I'm saying, I am tired of hearing these things in court. The prosecution will arraign 5 witnesses to tell me, and you want to chop on total Tuesdays, what did you do about it? Or were you waiting to come and give us tea in court? Because now that is tea. There's a child who once came to my courtroom and told me, but you listen to gossip the whole day. What is it? I mean, you just listen to tea. We become part of this tea taking. Alafu, we want to hear the story, but why do we have to hear that story? So what is our prevention strategy? I want to ask us today. In this panel with children, what is our prevention strategy? Do you even have it as a country? Or it's just response? Ambulances, the police, GBV centers. What about saying, can we stop it once and for all? So I think I want to be called for the next conversation of prevention, because our children are old enough to see that the system is failing them, and they are old enough to see that we are not doing much. Can you imagine, this is Milimani. There's a child who's in distress outside my court, and there's nothing I can do about it. That child cannot even be given a voice to come and talk to me and tell me this is my story. What happened, really? At what point did we drop the ball? Yeah, because it's really unfortunate. I hear these stories every day. Children tell you things in court of your life. So where were the adults when this was happening? Did you have to sleep hungry for 3 days so that a neighbor comes to find you there hungry and beaten? You hear, in fact, Nairobi is even worse, because you hear screams in a house, and the next thing, what do? You close your own door. So at what point will we just prevent it to our neighborhoods and see a house help frustrating a child and harassing a child and report it? So at what point do we sit down as a country to look at prevention? And for the existing cases, at what point do we help these children have a voice? That they can actually report the police and say, there's a police officer who's done 1, 2, 3, and I'm glad Mr. Songa is here. He's very proactive. If there's an officer who's very easy to talk to, is him. I don't know why he's not headed the CPU yet. I don't know, maybe it's a call to advocate for a formation called CPU, Child Protection Unit, and have him as the in charge, because he's the most approachable of them all. Children relate very well to him, and there are very many other officers who I call and I say there's this issue, and within 2 minutes you get a report. And to show that we're actually serious, I want you to give the details of your brother to Mr. Songa out there right now. And by the time we leave this room, we want him to be released or taken to court today. Is that okay? And that's an order.
Okay, so I'd like to ask Angel a question. Have you seen someone being treated badly by police officers or being treated badly in the justice system? I believe you said that's your brother. Yeah.
Thank you. Like in our community, Korogocho, the police don't care if you are a student or not. So like, wakiwapata kama tuseme the boys, hivyo tu watawashika nyuti bure tu, like watapani kuona wakuuza mtaani juu kenye nara mingi comment yao ni labda nafanya kuiba, nafanya karibu vitu za watu, so like hivyo ndo coach kama slums zote ziko but coach like mwezi kati mwezi mmekaa juu tu mkiona na polisi unaona watoto wanaanza kimbia juu utashikiwa kule na ndio kuendelea rubani ukielewa tu vitu ndio upelekwe na sio so like the boys na ndika sana juu unashikia kitu hata ujui and then unaenda kuandikia juu like sasa hapo nimeshakula kutekeleza.
So, Honorable, you were saying that but over the past few months there have been a lot of cases of police brutality on children, because during music festivals in April, I find that really messed up because what did the children do to deserve to be tear gassed? Like they just wanted to perform a skit, and the skit was during a big life. And I feel like after all that, that makes children hit the gum.
Empathize with the experiences the children are having with the police and even with the justice system. You know, as I was growing up, I never knew what it was like to enter into the justice system or to be involved with the police. I think the only time I heard about it was a cousin of mine who was giving his dad a very hard time, and he was taken to the police cell so that he can learn a lesson like that, so that he can learn a lesson. So we knew that that's not the best place for a child to be. But I think even as I got into working with the justice sector, one of the things that I did also know is that I didn't know that children were being put in cells, and I didn't know that children were being put in remand home. And I'm speaking as a lawyer, as a person who's supposed to be standing up for human rights, children's rights. We were not really exposed to understanding how much children are going through in the justice system. So when I did my pupillage and I interned with the task force is when I got to see firsthand that there are children in remand homes, and we weren't even told that remand homes also have children. So when we're in law school, we are told remand is for people who have not gone to the judiciary yet, they haven't been to court yet, but they don't tell you there's also a remand for children. They don't tell you that. So that is why I am very passionate about what I do, because now when I look at those children, or when you see the children in the justice system, you ask yourself, and I would like for all of us to ask ourselves, if you really, really went through what that child is going through in a cell or at a police station, would you be who you are today? Would you be seated where you are today? Would you have that job you have? Would you have that family that you have? And I think this is the mindset we should all be having when we have, or when we experience, when you see a child experiencing the justice system. It's no place for a child at all. It's no place for a child. All children should be within the community, with their families, playing around with their cousins, playing with their friends, being in school. That is the life that a child should be living. I don't think any child should be experiencing going to a police cell in the first instance. So the question was, what should be done about the police brutality? One, I think it was unfortunate that children are being tear gassed. It was something that we saw, I wouldn't say allegedly, it's something that was seen in the television. And I think that the first thing is first. The police force it's a human resource. It's a service now. We don't say police force. It's a service now. It's an agency, and their officers who are supposed to be providing services to the people. And I think it's 52% of Kenyans are children. So we should ensure that this service is serving both adults and children. It is a major category of the citizens that they are serving. But I think mostly when the government speaks, it's talking about just adults. But majority of the citizens in Kenya are children. So that's one thing that needs to be acknowledged. Then, for someone to work in an agency, we need training. So the training, how is it for the police officers? Are they going through a child-sensitive training? And we all know that there's a New Children Act. Is it in their training curriculum? And from the conversations that we've had, it's not really a major module. I don't know if it's as major as terrorism, as major as handling, a criminal. So we need to make sure that that curriculum or the sensitization plan for the police includes a major part of which should be, I think half of it should be children and how to handle children, because it's a category of crimes that they're serving. UNICEF will be supporting or is supporting the police to come up with a standard operating procedure on handling children matters, and this will cover the 3 services in the police service. So that's Kenya Police Service, Administration Police Service, and the DCI. So at least that's one step that UNICEF has made. But I think a major part of it is capacity building, changing the mindset. Because I think the mindset really matters. If you have a police officer who has been trained, this is how you handle a criminal, but they're not told this is how you handle a child, then there will be a difference in terms of how they handle children. When they come across children, they will treat them as criminals. The same way they will be told this is how you handle criminals. So I think a major part of it is aligning the training to ensure that the police officers are sensitive to children matters. And I think I'm happy Mr. Songo is here representing community security, that department. And they have gender and children desks. So when you go to a gender and children desk, you can report children matters there. But I think still there needs to be a specialization in children desk, because when you say gender desk, everybody thinks of women. But at children desk, you will know that a point of contact between the police and the community as regards to children. So my apologies. Honestly, sometimes you don't know what to say about what is happening, but I think mostly it's about the mindset of the police officers, the training, and in any agency, not just the police, in any agency. The mindset needs to change, the capacity building needs to change, and I think also the community standing up wherever they are in that area to bring up such issues when children are treated in those ways. So I think the community structures also need to be strong to advocate on how children should be treated by the agencies, especially the police. Yeah, so that's what I would say.
Maybe lately now we have state department of state department children welfare, and I understand they're less than 1 month old. Yes, so we are grateful. At least now we have a PS. It's easy now. We struggled for the longest. We didn't have anything with children. But I'm glad now the PS is proactive. We have had a meeting as NCHA. And I believe from how she spoke, I know things will begin to change. Because CPU was a major priority for her. So we are hoping that Anne and everyone else here kindly follow up for us. It's important, and we are also available, even on short notice, to assist when we can.
Okay, so Livingston and Angel, do you have anything to say about what has been said about what's going to happen from now on?
Okay. For what I have to say is like all these things have been there, and they have never been raised up maybe by the government to know that these things inaanzanga ikiwa ndogo then at some point inakufa, unaona, like the NGOs, like the TDH. I'm a victim of a TDH. TDH has been helpful in my life. They have been creating an environment where children can go and open up all that is in their heart for them to take a step. But again, you'll find like in Korogocho, TDH is dead. There is nothing like TDH nowadays. You don't know where it went. But we are grateful that even if it is dead, the members who used to work there assure us that they are still there, even though they don't have that capability or that power that they had before, but they are still there. They can do something. I'm grateful, like I can stand up here and say that thank you for Mr. James here and Joyce, who have been helpful in Korogocho. They have been with us. Okay, for what they are going to start, I'll actually encourage them that if they are going to start, they should come to slums where so many incidents normally happen. Like I can't fear that to say that I have been handcuffed by the policemen only because I was sent by my mom to take a sounding system to a phony. Then when I came back, I was arrested and the police were asking me where are the receipts of this thing. Then I was like, we are living in slums. Everything normally happens. Actually, and one man's trash is another man's treasure. What has been thrown by another man, it can be taken by another man and be meant for him and become of importance in his life. So I asked the police, hii nilinunua second hand kwa orodha, natoa wapi risiti? Then he was like, ulinunua? Nikamwambia, oh, sorry, my mom alinunua kwa orodha. Then akaniambia, call your mom. Sina simu. I was like, sina simu, nampigia na nini? Nipe simu. Ananiambia, no, I can't give you my phone. You are a thief. And I asked the police, I'm a thief, what have I done? Now, nowadays, in slums, there is this saying that normally goes that fear the police more than a thief. It is good to meet with a thief who you know that he will steal for you, or if he is to kill you, he will stab you and kill you, rather than meeting with a police who is going to handcuff you and take you to a cell with that thing that you have done. And he's going to accuse you of so much things that you're going to feel like, how is this world unfair? So, me, I'm encouraging you that as in Islam, then as you come up, then so many children will find empowerment and will be motivated. That's all. Thank you.
So mimi kwangu TDH kwa coach ilikuwa inasaidia vitu mingi sana. Sasa this ukiangalia ilikuwa inasaidia vitu tena ukashinda huko utalana something. Inaweza kusaidia kwa maisha yako. Kutengeneza pad dispenser sasa hivi ndio zinafanya kazi. Sasa hizi venye haiko hiyo watu wanakutia maisha ngumu. Like sasa hizi pate background yenu haikupoa. Sana una hakuna kutafuta. Like sasa hizi boys wanaweza kupata leo pesa sana kuuza bangi. Sasa TDH ilikuwa inasaidia jitendo huko ushinde huko utakula. So uko kusali kirudi home at least kusali kama mama yako yeye anaweza huko sasa TDH kirudi ni kushukuru sana.
Oh, before I continue, let's have a round of applause for Honorable. She has taken the initiative to solve the issue right here and now, instead of sending an email and appointing an appointment that you have to come after 3 weeks and then we stand on it. Let's have a round of applause for her. Okay. So one more question for Roslyn. What are some things that you child protection measures that you would recommend to make sure children in conflict with the law or children that have been accused of things, to make sure that they are safe and that they're well protected even in the difficult situation that they're in?
So children in conflict with the law, I think, first of all, my question would be, do children even know when they're breaking the law sometimes? I remember, and Anne keeps giving this story of a child who was in the remand home for, was it a year or two, who had stolen 4 coconuts. Yeah, and there was one who was in Malindi remand for, I think, more than a year, who had broken into a hotel because he was hungry and he was found outside eating, and he was told, we're charging with breaking in. So his case had also not been concluded in court. So when I think of a child in conflict with the law, I think some of the times, or most of the times, we look at it as this is a child who has, made an offense. But when I put myself in the shoes of a child, I ask myself, does the child even understand that they are breaking the law? So most of these children in the remand homes, I remember we had interviewed. Another case was one of them was playing with his friend, and because of it they got into a fight. He hit his friend on the neck. His friend passed out, and because it was Lamu, there were no cars, the friend ended up dying. So he was charged with not attempted, he was charged with murder, but I think it was lowered to manslaughter. So in the lens of a child, one, I think it's understanding the law. Second of all, to see some issues as social issues instead of, they intentionally wanted to break the law. Because like the child who broke into a hotel to steal food, as a practitioner, as a person, maybe an adult, you would see it as this child has broken into the hotel. That is breaking in. But what is really the reason behind the child going into that hotel too? And they were just eating. So I think that's how I would look at it. Education, checking the social issues, but also I think how the agencies respond to this kind of child. Because for protection measures, as we said, there's prevention and response. So one prevention is, of course, the parents, that they need to do their job. That's parental responsibility. You have to let the children know they have duties and responsibilities. But then when they, don't do what they're supposed to do, or when they break some laws, because we know, even in church you're told don't say. There's some of those things that are just moral issues. So you just see how to sensitize them on how not to break the law in an easy way that they can understand. Then I think for the response issues, because if you don't prevent, there are some children who actually do break the law. When they come into the system, I think the agencies or the officers should know how to treat children as children. And in the status report on children in the justice system, which is a situational analysis on the justice sector in terms of how children are being treated, the children mentioned that they should be treated as children, not criminals, because they felt that that's how they were being treated. And even when we supported the development of the national strategy, the most recurring issue that the children mentioned within the remand homes and rehabilitation schools was they were being treated badly by the police officers. So, sorry, Mr. Songa. So, just relaying information. So, it seems that the first point of contact by children with the justice system is the police. So, I think if we really invest in sensitizing the police on how to handle children, no matter whether it's diversion. I hope now we understand what diversion is. Yeah? If it's diversion, if it's warning the children, if it is engaging with the parents, if it's nyumbakumi, engaging them, I think those are some protection measures that the justice sector can take. But what I want to emphasize is children should never come into contact with a cell at all. I think that should not happen at all. Maybe there are circumstances, but I think no child should ever come into contact with a cell. I don't know if any adult has slept in a cell. How many have slept in a cell? Slept. It stinks. It smells so horrible. It's not warm. There is no bed. There is no mattress. There is no toilet. There is no water. There is no food. Mr. Songo, I think some of them have, but it's not good food. It's not home food. So you can, and it's just one small room, no air. You know, there's no air, clean air. So it's dark. So you can imagine a child who's coming from home going to a cell. So it really, I think it interferes with their psychology, and also I think some of them are mixed with adults. So I don't think that point of contact with the justice system, I think we should always limit it to the police officer handling the issue with the family and the community, and then we see what structures and tools and systems to put in place from that point. But with a child entering a cell, I don't think it should be happening. So I think those are some of the response measures, and I think that's why there's such an urgency of this framework to guide what the diversion should be, but I think it should be from the first point of contact, and of course having the necessary regulations to make sure that there's no abuse of that power. Yeah.
Okay, so Honorable Jackie, looking ahead, what commitments and promises and the stuff that you have said that you will do, what are we expecting to see changed in the justice system that you have said that will be changed?
First, I was in Makadara for 6 years, so I'm a ghetto magistrate. I have worked in the ghetto. There's no slum I haven't visited. I have come to Kinyago, I have come to John Saga police station. There's no place I haven't gone to. I have eaten food from Dandora, those sites. There's a child who was telling me they were boiling bones from the dam site. So we went and cooked a meal next to the dam site just to spend time with the children. Unfortunately, now when I moved to Milimani, I want to apologize. I left my ghetto people. I now concentrated so much on Milimani and forgot all about where I came from. So I want to see, I know Millie is laughing there. We have done a lot of work with NRF. We train many officers. Mr. Songa will tell you, we even trained on, we sensitized very many officers. By the time I left Makadara, there was no single police station, out of the 27 police stations that did not have 2 child protection unit officers, a male and a female. Now I understand when I went on transfer, they were all transferred. So I don't know what happened. So I think between Mr. Songa and I will sit down and see how we can go back to community outreaches. I know Milimani is busy, but I feel like I have left home very desolate. You know, I really feel bad that these are the stories I'm still hearing. I'm hearing 10 years later, because when I joined in 2016, it was like this. We transformed the entire system. We even brought counselors every Thursday to our courts. We had counseling in the police stations, counseling in every hospital. Every health center had a counselor. And these are not stories. Millie will tell you we had counseling in every health facility, up to level 2. Dandora Health Center had a resident counselor. So I don't know what happened. Maybe I need to go back to East Lando, because I feel like home is not the same again. That was my home for very many years. So I honestly don't know how we can assist. Maybe you can adopt me back, because for us, once you are transferred, that is there. Now the problems in Milimani are, the clients come to Milimani, ask you, do we have parking? So those are the problems in Milimani, and I honestly struggle so much to associate with those problems, because you're now determining cases of, do we go to Dubai, you know, very high-end cases, and I took so long to adjust. Until today, I still struggle to sit in Milimani, because I feel like it's Manchu, you know, the problems here, Mr. Chenge, are very, you know, do you understand? Very, you know, a child has an iPhone and they're beating up everyone in the house because the iPhone has been taken away. the Wi-Fi is not working, and that's a major problem. I really struggled. So I feel like I have left these children, and I want to go back. So please take me back. Because by the time I left, there were no children in YCTC. All the children had left. I still have statistics. There were only 27, and they had stayed there for only 3 months. Until now, YCTC has 90. Miss Miriam, they will tell you 90, 100 children. I look back. In fact, recently there was one who came to court. He had been in custody for 5 months in industrial area, and he's 15. You know, I looked at the boy. First, we just looked at each other. I didn't even divert. I'm sorry, but I told him if you pay this one, they're not taking it. He's already served time. He's been in industrial area with adults for 4 months. First, he stayed in a police station with adults for like 2 weeks. Then they did age assessment. He was forgotten. He stayed for another month. So by the time this boy was coming to me, he was so tired. So we just, in fact, when the ODPP looked at my face, it was like, okay, we withdraw. Because there was no way we were going to proceed with this matter. Then they asked me, Your Honor, the charges. I'm like, what charges? How many months? In industrial, have you been to industrial area? You guys need to go to industrial area. LRF, you need to invite us for a conference inside industrial area so that we see what happens there. There's a time my clients in Makadara invited me to their cell. They said, Your Honor, we're taking you to a game of Kuja, Wonepali Tunadana. And by the time I left there, I said none of my clients will stay there for me. That was industrial area. So I don't know how NCAJ will help Juliet. See how we can go back to Makadara. And not just Makadara, go back to the ghetto. We need to go back where it all began. Because at this rate, we are going to lose these children. We had even eradicated all the gang members. There were no gang members. We infiltrated all of them, including Jeshi, Kamjesh, all those. The latest one was the one for we eliminated Gaza completely. Now I'm told they are back. They are back. So we eliminated all the gang members, all of them. We did community policing. There's nothing we didn't do in those camps. So we need to go back. And for sure, I am ready to go back. So let's see.
Okay, just as we end, I'd like to see, do you guys have anything else to say?
As for me, I'll tell you, if you're going back to illuminate Gaza, you should be careful. Because nowadays those camps, the way that you know those camps, they have formed themselves not for the virtue of other peoples, but to protect themselves. They have really seen that they can protect themselves rather than police officers protecting others. Because they have now seen that nowadays police, they work with bribes. If you don't have something to grease my palm, I'm not going to attend to you. But I have a camp like Gaza, East Side, all those, I have them that if I have something and I go to share with them, they will take an action. That is what they know. So I just advise you, be careful. I've not said that you should not go there. But when you go there, make sure that you go there with peace.
No, we did that. We did outreaches. What we did is have interactions with them. And when we became like like the buffers of the children of the police, then they found it was easy to talk to us. And I don't know, maybe we need to invite Mr. Songa. We did a lot of work with him. We need to come up with another strategy because we realized most of these boys are heading their families. They're actually heading their family headed, their child headed homes. So I think we need another conference to deal with Dandora and their issues. Yes, but getting those children out of the guts is easy, and AJS really work because we have structures even through the community, the justice centers. We had established, I think, 6 of them. Yeah, justice centers.
Okay, I would like 5 more. Okay, so guys, thank you for listening to our panel discussion. Actually, I've been cut short because you want to kunya kashai, and I did not want to stop you from kunying your kashai. So, bye bye.
Give it a clap for our panelists and our moderator. Yeah, she can take a photo with me, please. Okay, so here we go. We are going to smile for the photo. Cheese. Okay, thank you. Let's clap for everyone as they go back to their seats. It's been an awesome day. And you see that you all have a role to play in terms of ensuring that you have child justice, strengthening child justice forums in our country, right? Yes. Kilicho na mwanzo lazima kiwe na mwisho. And I promise that we'll end at 4. And it is 4, so you have sufficient time to take tea, take photos. For those of us who have never seen Westlands, please. You can see Westlands just here. Like there are no walls, okay? You just need to drop down these things and then you go to see Westlands. If you've never seen high-rise buildings, this is the epitome of high-rise buildings. A kind request. Today was the first day, so some of us did not know whether they had been invited or not. But today you know that you are invited and you know the venue. A kind request that tomorrow please by 8:30 you come so that we can have tea. Like we are serving breakfast here. So usingangane na mkate huko nyumbani. Hapa kuna mapochopocho yote. We start with fruits, coffee, tea and everything. And then kuna zile meat kidogo. So don't struggle with the bread at home, please. Let's be here by 8:30. If you come at 7:30, you find me here. So if you want to interact with me more, 7:30 is the time. And I'm a very busy person, so if I give you 1 hour, that is just good enough. So please, let's try to keep time. This is Nairobi. We all want to move with time. Okay? Please, so that tomorrow we have sufficient time to discuss in the morning. We have our very own magistrate. She'll be able to share more tomorrow. We have a DPP will be presented. I will be yours truly now, a presenter, not a facilitator, right? I know you can't wait for that. Yeah. So shall we all give a big clap for the day? Hii ni meeting ya wazungu. Sasa kama uko nyumbani samahani, hapa hakuna mambo ya nini? Maombi. Just say may God bless you. Amen? Amen. Enjoy your tea. Thank you.
Ikifika